Hey guys, this is Julius. This is going to be installment one of Julius Talks, and in this episode, we're going to be talking about hardware, and in specific, that is computer hardware. So, the most important parts of a computer are your graphics card and your processor, but there's a lot of other important parts of your computer that all have to tie in together and work together. There's size constraints, there's different form factors of all the different parts. It can be very complicating, and for some people, I'm sure it can be overwhelming. But I've done a lot of research. I've spent a lot of time building computers. I've built 5 computers as of yet, and I have more than I need to build. And so I am not an expert, but I do know quite a bit about computers, and I feel that at this point, I'm qualified to talk about computers and hopefully spread my knowledge to some people that aren't quite as well versed in the world of computers. So, you've got your outside components. That's your chassis or your case. And so you want a case that's going to look nice and fit all of your components, and you want something that is nice looking, especially if it's something that's going to be sitting out, on your desk or in your view all day. But if it's something that's going under your desk or back in a corner, maybe you don't care about that. Obviously, you don't want your computer sitting back in a corner with no airflow, but as long as airflow is okay, it doesn't matter where your computer really goes, as long as its airflow is okay and it reaches your monitors. So, then your next component you're looking at are fans. And that doesn't really matter what fans you get. You just need fans that can push some air through your case and give you airflow across your components. Your components will already have some cooling fans on them. So, as long as you have 3 fans, maybe 4 fans going through your case, you're fine. You're completely fine. Then you've got your power supply. That draws your power from the wall. You need to make sure that your power supply can put out enough watts to power all of the different components in your system. So you need to go to a calculator for wattage, and you need to figure that out and make sure that your power supply can put out the kind of power that your opponents are sucking up. Then you're going to be looking at your processor. That's the brains of your system. It does a ton of data crunching, it moves around data, and it's the one smart component. All the other components in your system are dumb, and your processor is the one with the logic that actually does all of that number crunching and figures out all of that. Then you're going to be looking at your motherboard. That's what ties your whole system together. Everything plugs into your motherboard or connects to it at the end of the day. Then you've got your graphics card. That's also important. It creates your image, it displays your image on screen. So you're going to need a good power supply, and you're going to need to know that your monitors can actually display that nice, smooth image that your graphics card is creating. And then you're going to be looking at your RAM, your random access memory. That's what temporarily stores data until it's needed by your processor or graphics card. And so then, when it's all done, it dumps the data, and a copy of it is saved to your storage drive. And now is a perfect time to talk about your storage drive. You're going to want a fast storage drive that holds Windows or Linux or Mac OS, whatever operating system you use. So you're going to want a solid state drive to hold that data that you're using a lot. And then for your mass storage of your games, you can just get a hard drive for $50 with 2 terabytes of storage, and that's going to be fine for you. But, if you're someone like me that wants faster storage times and you're storing a lot of data and you have a lot of game passes where you're uninstalling and reinstalling games constantly, maybe it's better to invest in a larger solid state drive. You can find a 2 terabyte solid state drive for $218, and that is more than enough storage for most people. A terabyte's probably fine for a lot of people, but I'd suggest 2 terabytes of storage, especially if you have like some subscription passes. You have Call of Duty that takes up 250 gigabytes of space, of course. But at the end of the day, your storage isn't the most important factor, but you definitely don't want to be running everything off of a slow hard drive. But hard drives still have their place in a computer, and they're still fine. They can still do plenty of stuff. And then you've got your cooling. And most of your parts already come with cooling. Your processor probably comes with a cooler included. Your graphics card already has a cooler on it, but you can do water cooling. You can buy a all-in-one cooler You attach some fans to it, screw it into your case, and then you screw the other side of it into your processor, and it runs water over your processor to cool it. Then there's hybrid graphics cards. They have a built-in water cooler and a fan. They have both, so it has the best of both worlds. It has good cooling performance, and then the fan kicks in if needed. So that's nice, but those can be more expensive. And then your most expensive cooling option is a custom water loop. And that's where you have your radiators on the sides of your case. You have your fans attached to those radiators. You have a water block, which is a plastic block, on your graphics card and motherboard. And that just makes sure that water is circulated and run over them. And then you have tubing, whether that's hard or whether that's like a hard plastic, a copper, or a rubber tubing that connects the water blocks to a pump and a water reservoir. And then that water reservoir will hook up to those radiators. So it goes through your components. It's pumped by the pump. It goes through your components, and then it goes to a radiator, which dissipates the heat, and it goes through the loop again. And so you're going to want to make sure that that water loop is getting circulation. You want to make sure that there's no bubbles in it. You want to make sure that your water-cooled components are staying cool. You want to make sure that your water isn't leaking, and also you want to make sure that the fittings between those different connections aren't letting water evaporate, and you're going to have to refill your system if they aren't extremely tight. So, water cooling is not something you're going to want to worry about on your first build, probably. It's incredibly expensive, very involved, and it's probably not something you're going to worry about, but it's just something that I want to let you, as a new computer builder, be aware of. So, thanks for watching and listening to this installment of my podcast. Please come back for more. I'm going to be doing an installment on all of those different components, going into depth on which ones you should buy at different price points, 100, 200, 500, and maybe 700 or something. And then I'm also going to be looking at history, world events, and other things that I'm interested in that I figured I'd break down and explain to you as my viewer. So thank you for watching, and come back for more.